Namaste. I'm Kendrick Stevenson from Miami, Florida in the United States. Today I want to share the story that changed my life forever.
In the early hours of June 5th, 2016, I had just left my friends and merged onto a busy highway when, out of nowhere, a car slammed into the back of mine, sending me into the concrete divider.
My vision deteriorated instantly. I thought the car was on fire, but it was only the heat and smoke from the airbag. My right arm snapped, yet I slid over to the passenger seat and sat there, stunned and pleading for help.
The young driver rushed up, shocked by the blood and deep cuts on my face. Moments later came flashing lights, an ambulance ride, and the bright glare of the emergency room. Doctors found my forehead shattered, the bones beneath both eyes fractured, and my nerves badly damaged. They hooked me to a ventilator so the machine breathed for me. A trach tube rested in my throat, and a feeding tube ran into my stomach.
I couldn't speak, I couldn't eat, and I could barely see. After facial reconstruction surgery, the doctors stitched my eyelids shut for 7 days to let everything heal. I laid there in total darkness. During that time, I began to have mystical experiences.
I drifted out of my body and walked across distant planets and met people that I felt I'd known for lifetimes. The great compassionate light appeared, overwhelmed me with joy, love, and freedom. I tossed red roses into its radiance. I stood among African ancestors, their powerful drumming resonating deeply within my consciousness. I found myself outside of AECOM, but instead of seeing the marble structure, I saw its energetic structure that appeared like colorful pulsing grid lines. Later, while receiving a blood transfusion, my consciousness drifted into vivid images of Italian streets unfolding before my inner eyes. Scenery I had never seen in person. My intuition peaked, and I knew that it was the blood of an Italian that I was receiving, giving me a profound experience of oneness. Even though I was physically incapacitated, I felt an inner unfolding, a knowing that I was not alone and that I was being divinely looked after. After 5 weeks confined to a bed, I had to relearn how to stand and walk, inching forward with the physical therapy team. For an entire week, my eyelids were sutured shut, leaving me in complete darkness. Yet the grace of the great compassionate light allowed me to communicate perfectly by writing notes to doctors, family, and friends, even though a trach tube left me without a voice. Once I returned home, the healing felt hands-on and constant. I would sense what I called divine surgeries along the scar that arcs from ear to ear across my scalp. Gentle vibrations, brief flashes of pain, and a soothing wave that moved across my forehead, where surgeons had lifted bone to rebuild my nose and placed mesh beneath both eyes. Over the months, my face literally reshaped itself. Thick ridges softened, and the cosmetic follow-up operations doctors expected were never needed. These energetic procedures could start at any moment, while resting, talking with friends, or even driving. And when they did, I slipped into deep silence, trusting the great compassionate light and Sri Bhagavan were still at work. I have been part of this movement since 2009, and in one session, it was explained unconscious programs stifle healing. I followed the instruction and prayed to the great compassionate light. Immediately afterward, as I walked toward the kitchen, a wave of energy washed over me. My blurry double vision had snapped into crystal clear clarity. One shimmering lake outside instead of two, ripples dancing in the sun, trees swaying, birds gliding, and clouds drifting by. A glance in the mirror showed that my once misaligned eyes had perfectly been centered. I knew the great compassionate light had answered that prayer. A few months later, I traveled to India.
My family thought that I was crazy to travel after going through such a major accident and intense surgeries. But I knew that I had to get back there. That was my home. I discovered a Srimurti of a white golden orb on the temple's top floor, the exact same light that I had witnessed in my earlier vision.
Seeing it for the first time, my eyes welled with tears and my heart overflowed with connection. I was face to face with the very radiance that had comforted me in my darkest hours. On the day devoted to physical healing, I prayed to Sri Amma for relief from the army of ants' nerve pain crawling over my body. Back in my room on Campus 3, the crawling sensation intensified. I laid down, passed out for several hours, and woke up pain-free. The sensation has since never returned. Today, my inner world is completely different. Through the teachings of Sri Amma Bhagavan and years of oneness, I live with a deep God-defined connection. Moments of profound silence and an indescribable sense of eternity. I've also seen tangible results. Recently, I competed for a promotion. My director first said that I had not been selected. I prayed simply for new opportunities.
My director had called back and said that she had made a mistake and offered me the position. I knew that it was the grace of the Great Compassionate Light and Amma Bhagwan. I now better understand the mission of Sri Amma Bhagwan and the priceless gift of the Great Compassionate Light that they've given to us. With all my heart, I offer my deepest gratitude to Sri Amma Bhagwan for entering my life and bringing such profound healing and transformation.